I'm gonna try again because I just did a whole bunch of stuff and I was muted the whole time. So it's a good thing no one's watching yet because you guys would have missed out on some good stuff. So let's try again. All right, welcome to the Smeggy Cave. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, we get some people jumping in and we can be talking. Happy Every Second Matters. Doing this on the second of the month, October 2022. Hey, what's going on, bearded guy? If you're not familiar, Every Second Matters is, I don't even know, awareness campaign, I guess, for on the second of every month, take time to talk about the Second Amendment or do something to raise Second Amendment awareness. I know a lot of people will go out and maybe open carry, try and start conversations. I personally don't open carry on the second because it's not really an option for me here. But I will try to make it a point to talk to somebody about the Second Amendment somehow. That's kind of me every day, but especially on the second, I make it a point. Oh, rock on, man. I know who you are. So, anyways, thanks for joining in. Thanks for coming and watching me. Like I said, I got some links out there. If people want to come in, I dropped the links on my Gilded server as well as I think on GWeb's Gilded server. That's just the easiest way to not get weirdos. I guess if there's some people in the chat, maybe I'll drop it out there and then delete it real quick or something if I know who you are. Or I can email you or Instagram it to you or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But anyways, hang on. So today is kind of a special Every Second Matters because this was the second day of the Gun Rights Policy Conference, grpc. And that was in Dallas this year. It's put on by the Second Amendment Foundation. And it's basically, for anyone not familiar, it is the heavy hitters of the Second Amendment all getting together in the same room. They have, a little sometimes it's a single person talking about a topic. Sometimes it's a panel of 4 or 5 people that maybe have something in common. And then those people, talk about whatever that topic is. And then a bunch of other people show up and watch. And, it's a lot of networking and all this kind of stuff. I went, trying to think, it was 2018, I think we figured out. It was in Chicago. And I was able to go to that, met up with some people I knew from gun channels. GWebs was there, I think. Who else showed up? Crap, I'm gonna be rude because I don't remember. There's a couple other people. Crap, I don't remember who they were. Anyways, it was nice to, on at least a couple of people. First time actually meeting them in person. What's going on, Scott, and New York Outcast? Thanks for being here. But anyways, for me, that first experience, right? So I found out about grpc. I'm pretty sure it's from GWebs. And I think it was the year before they were streaming it live. Was that even when maybe he was streaming it live? That might have been. He sat up in the back of the room and literally just opened up a live thing. So you could hear the people and kind of see the room and see people's reactions and stuff like that. Okay. But anyways, I don't think I sound anything like GWebs, but that's fine. I guess if I only do this, you could get confused. We both have the same white dog. I think we take turns. Well, his is a girl, mine's a boy, but whatever. It's basically the same dog, just lays around, does nothing. You're lazy. Lazy. But anyways, this one, not lazy. Crazy. Crazy. But yeah, so I think I watched one of them live before the first year I was able to go. And I have to say, like, as much as I like watching it live, being there in person is a totally different feeling. So if any of you guys have not been to one, I definitely suggest going to one. It's so cool to just be in that same room. Everyone has a common goal, and just seeing, even if you're just kind of overhearing a conversation in a hallway or whatever, seeing the types of people shaking hands with each other and just realizing Oh man, like I don't know what they just did, but the fact that like those two people just shook hands with each other, it's something big's coming. It's a some kind of crazy lawsuit, a major fundraiser, a major team up, whatever, sharing resources, sharing information. Um, so that really kicked me in the butt for 2A advocacy. I mean, obviously, I've always been a 2A guy, but that one really was like, okay, I need to start doing more, doing stuff. I'm pretty sure that was when I started doing the legislative updates for Every Second Matters each month. I know I haven't done one in, I think, at least a year. I need to do that again. Maybe I'll do one later today. But anyways, so I definitely recommend it. It is a recharge of your battery. Now, that being said, it's not perfect. And I said this quote earlier today, and I feel bad because I forget who I heard say it. So I did not invent this. I want to give credit to whoever it was who said it. But the basic premise is don't let perfection get in the way of good enough. Because a lot of people don't want to start something because, oh, I don't have this yet. Well, I'm not a big enough channel. I don't have connections. Like, I don't have sponsors. I don't have, well, whatever the thing is, you know. I don't know how I would fundraise if let's say you're doing a state level 2A organization or something. Well, I haven't talked to the legislator. Like, they don't know my name. They won't listen to me, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, fine. But either way, like, just start, just do something. And then you'll learn, you'll meet, you'll, get better. So don't wait for everything the stars to be aligned perfectly when just doing something is, good enough. It's close enough. You're going to get there. It's more than zero, right? Did what you do this morning help the Second Amendment more than like if you didn't wake up this morning? Like, was it a net positive? If it was, then keep doing that. Now, if it was a +1 and it should have been +100, okay, fine. We'll learn how to get to +100. But either way, like that's something that I gained from going to my first grpc. And then, like I said, I missed 19. Again, watch that one online. The last 2 years, the next 2 years, it was virtual only, which was kind of annoying. But they figured it out. They did it again, more than zero. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't horrible. And then this year was back in person, and that's where they're down in Dallas. So, anyways, that's what I've been doing pretty much all weekend. I missed, so Friday they have AmCon, which is supposed to be for creators, for what would you call it? Like people that want to become podcasters or people that want to be media or do stuff like that, get outreach or something. I didn't watch that, but anyway, starting Saturday, definitely watched most of grpc. I missed the first part. I woke up a little bit late, and then I watched everything today. So I think it was a pretty good show. Definitely, there was some technical stuff as far as the streaming or whatever, but they kind of figured it out and they're getting better. So again, working towards doing better. So I'd be curious, you guys thought, did you watch it live? Did you tune in and go, oh, it's this dude again, I don't care what he has to say, and leave? Like, what's kind of the feeling out there? It definitely can be a little nerdy at times. Now, I am a nerd, so I liked when the lawyers were blabbing on about this case, that case, injunction here, blah, 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 whatever. But I know some people kind of tune that stuff out. But I thought there was some good information, definitely early on in the morning on Saturday. If you go back, so it's on the Second Amendment Foundation's YouTube channel. They streamed the whole thing, so go back and watch it if you didn't. But at some point, fairly early on the first day, on Saturday, there was a dude that was talking about all of the wins since the recent Supreme Court case, which I will refer to as the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association's win over the bad guy. I'm not going to call the decision based off the bad guy. We call Heller because Heller won. We call it McDonald because McDonald won. We should call it the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association win because they won. They were the good guys. But anyways, I know I'm probably fighting uphill on that one, but whatever. I'm going to change my language just like I do with I'll say mass killing or something like that, or public attack or whatever. I don't say like school shooter or whatever. Like it's not an accurate description, and language does matter. So, anyways, that's something I have to consciously tell myself to call it that. Hopefully, other people do as well, and it sticks. We'll see. Um, but anyways, you went through all of these different things. I mean, the cookies are crumbling for a lot of states, and you got the ones like New York and California, which are digging their heels in. New York trying to make the entire city a sensitive place. So technically, they're forced to give out permits. They don't want to, but like technically, okay, fine, we'll give out permits because we have to. Guess what? The permits are useless because as soon as you step foot outside the door, you're in a sensitive area. So we're going to come arrest you anyways. That's what they're trying. I think that stuff is going to get struck down. And it just proves, right? You back an animal into the corner, what does he do? Start snapping at you. So that's what they're doing. They're snapping at us. They're trying to get anything that sticks because they do realize it wasn't a Kerry case. I mean, it was, but the way the decision came down about the historical precedent and, you can't just say public safety. You have to prove, like from your point of view, like from the state's point of view, why this law like is constitutional, why it's needed, and all that stuff. We're going after California handgun roster, going after assault weapons ban, going after magazine bans. All that stuff I feel will come crumbling down eventually. But if worst case scenario, every state is at least shall issue now, right? And we already have 25 states that are constitutional carry. So we're already halfway there if you don't even need a permit if you don't want one. Okay, so I kind of wasn't keeping up on the comments here, but I just saw one, the bearded guy. Haven't heard much from FPC. Anyone know why? Because you're not subscribed to their Instagram. Those dudes post 20 things a day. How have you not heard from them? Maybe they haven't emailed or whatever in a while. I don't know if you get emails from them, but like they're everywhere. Because you live in a cave, your internet's broken. I don't know why you haven't heard. I certainly have heard. They have all sorts of stuff. And another thing is that was a good segue with the grpc is, I know it's all these letters. So FPC was at grpc, right? So Firearms Policy Coalition was at the Gun Rights Policy Conference on the first day. I don't know if they did any today. I haven't seen any posted yet. But on that first day, they were literally set up in the hallway talking with a lot of the speakers that did a little presentation or were on part of a panel. They pulled them away for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, did a little interview with them. And I would say that was awesome media coverage of the event. And it was a way to go get to a single topic, because those presentations are really just, hey, what's up? Like, blah, blah, blah. This is my thing. But an interview, having that back and forth, shut the camera off for a second. Sensitive stuff going on. Having an actual interview style, even though it's not like it was a huge debate or whatever. They were getting tossed some softball questions and they would answer it. And yeah, it's to promote their organization to them as people or whatever, which is fine. So, but at least it was something different than like just a panel discussion or presentation, I should say, because discussion is not the right word, to be honest. Now that had sparked something in my head, and other people have said it as well, kind of brainstorming. Let's pretend, how can we make grpc better? And this was a question to my viewers as well. What would you do different? What would you like to see? So the thing that I really like the idea of, it's kind of like at SHOT Show or even NRA Show. You guys seen Media Row, where they put all the radio shows and all the podcasts? They give them little booths set up. They're all right next to each other. And then obviously, at like SHOT Show, they're interviewing companies. Oh, I hear you got a new, 357 Magnum in stainless, whatever. But do that same thing Second Amendment wise. So why can't all of us podcasters, all of us radio shows, all of us whatever, any type of media, I mean blogs, right? There are newspaper articles, whatever you do, writing books. Set them up in Media Row, have a little hallway or a separate room, and hopefully get the people that want to be interviewed and want to promote their message, as well as the people that, want to get content for their own thing. We can work together on this and have a place where they could do little interviews or, I don't know, after hour discussions or whatever the heck, right? And what I envision is basically like, let's say John Locke goes up there and kills it, right? I'm a nerd, I'm a data guy. He's probably one of my favorites, right? You guys have heard me talk about him a million times. So when I get him, right, and he goes out and he goes and talks to Polite Society podcast, cool. Well, then he stands up, okay, thanks for the interview. Well, if he's sitting next to me, Smeggy Cave, guess who's going to get an interview? Because I'm going to staple him to the chair and not let him leave. And so now he's talking to me. And then after he's done talking to me, maybe FPC goes, oh, hey, John, come on over here, bud. Let's talk. And he's like, oh, okay. So, I mean, he could spend an hour and whip out 4 or 5 interviews about what he just talked about. Maybe during the lunch break or whatever, you can make those connections, all this stuff. That's, like I said, what's nice about being in person. You're seeing the hands being shaken. You're seeing people talking over the lunch break, over breakfast, over smoke break, walking back to the room, like whatever, waiting for Uber to show up, all that stuff, getting invited to dinner. Like, and those are the conversations that are important. I'm doing this in my state. What are you guys doing in your state? Oh man, you guys use red letters? I never thought of that. I'm going to start using red. Like, whatever the heck, even little nerdy stuff or whatever. How do you get people to get your newsletter? I did this kind of code on my website and it keeps crashing. Oh, I know a guy who makes websites and he can make it way better. Like, so let's share information, share resources. But the media thing I think would be awesome because especially some of the smaller people, right? We all know Tony Simon and Kevin Dixie and some of the other training type people. And what's their biggest thing? I want people to hear about me. Like, that's what they need. They need people to hear about them. So why not give them an outlet to say, okay, I can now reach 4 or 5 different types of audiences, and maybe only half of them will care, but the other half, whatever, at least give them the time of day. So I think that would be great. It'd be good for the people, and it'd be good for like the broadcasters, and it'd be good for just the Second Amendment in general of getting all of us working together, because we all have different strengths and different skills and different requirements, different needs. And there's no reason not to get everyone together. And it might even be simple of, I have a thumbnail guy. Oh, my YouTube videos don't get enough clicks. Oh, you should try my thumbnail guy. You pay him $5 every time you put up a video. Like, okay, cool. It helps the dude making the thing. It helps the channel. It helps everybody, right? This is all, we're looking for win-wins. So I'm going to go back up through the comments. No one's jumped in yet. Again, link is in my Gilded channel, as well as I put it on GWeb's. Hopefully I was kind of trying to get his attention, hoping he would jump in. I know he's been to more grpcs than I have. But yeah, let me go back through the comments, see. I'm sorry if I miss you. Normally I see you right away, but I got distracted playing with my dog here. So I saw Bearded Guy, Scott, Outcast, Ron, Warsaw. Yep, everyone's basically saying hi. California's coming back to life step by step. I agree, Warsaw. That's the whole point, right? They took all our rights away step by step. We can get them back step by step. Question: You have a cover on? You have that cover on that? Wait. How can you have that cover on you, given it's 80 degrees in your state? Oh, well, first off, it's not 80 degrees here, and secondly, I've answered this question before. I don't have this blanket or this towel because I'm cold or whatever, right? I have that blanket on, or that towel, because, okay, you see that color? I'm in the shadow. I'm an idiot. I don't know how to film stuff. So you see how like brown and nasty that is? You see how bright and vibrant that is? That's what color it's supposed to be. So if I didn't have this towel on, my pants would be this color and covered in dirt. So that's why I have that. I'm not a little old lady with an Afghan across her lap, right? But also, secondly, I'm a mile from the ocean. It doesn't get hotter than like 70 at the worst. I think today was probably like high of 69, 68, something like that. Gets down to low 60s at night. So, okay, yeah, baby steps add up. Yeah, I think that was when I was talking. Don't wait for perfection. Just do it. Okay, your channel, get a grind on. You won't catch the ear, make effort, talk to people, practice. Yeah, Practice makes perfect. Yes, indeed. Roy agrees. Sam's here. What's going on? Saying hi to people. Woods is here. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So we're going back to grpc. Basically, the guy streaming, right, is Paul, and says he needs to get with a bunch of 25-year-olds to help him with new media. Agree with Tony Simon from Saturday. New media, Twitch, Insta, etc. New media is not new. New means new, not YouTube and Facebook. Yeah, I do agree with that. We got to get what the kids are doing. I mean, that's something that even every movement, right? Any type of thing, you need the people that are doing it to get with the people that want to start doing it. One, you help the young guys or the new people and get them up to speed so that they're not making the same mistakes that the old guys are making. But then secondly, yeah, the different perspectives. So there needs to be a changing of the guard, not just a bunch of people started something 20 years ago and they've been doing it for 20 years. Well, they've been doing it longer than that, right? Shoot, when I was FBC, at least 30 years. So it would have been 92. Maybe they started in the 80s. Maybe it's been going on for 40 years. I think it's the same people doing it. So they started it when they were younger. They were, 20 years old. They started it and now they're 60 or whatever. So if they've been doing it that long, well, when are the new people coming in? Because eventually they're going to, retire or whatever and not want to do it anymore. And so you need to pass the torch. And you don't wait till, oh, this dude left. Now we need to find someone to do it. Like they should be the last 10 years, you should have both the old guard and the new guard working together. So then the old guard can just kind of slowly step away. And the new guy, he's not new anymore. He's been doing it for 10 years, helping out or whatever. G23's here. Hey, what's up? Second thumb. Okay, great. Yeah, every second matters. We'll kind of get to that in a little bit. I'm still on grpc. What's up, dog? Hey. Yeah, that's Roy. That's his name. His name's Roy. The white one, Ziggy, or Zig, but he went back inside. So, anyways, yeah, I definitely agree with the new media stuff. And that's where I think Media Row or whatever would also be interesting because those same people, like I said, I'm kind of picturing it as interviewing and whatnot, but it certainly could be just also broadcasting, right? Because if you're sitting there, you set up your camera in the back of the room, maybe it's not the best picture, but you can still hear the audio or whatever, and let SAF have their own mixers and their own whatever, and maybe just let you pull the audio right from the thing. But that was something. I will say this for people: if you're going to go back and listen to it, because I don't think it's going to change in the replay versus live. For some reason, audio only came out the left channel. It happened Saturday and Sunday. And for part of the day, I think most of the day yesterday, and for part of the day today, on the right side, the right channel was actually just putting out static and hissing. So if you just had regular speakers and they both got the channels on, I think you thought the sound sounded really staticky and maybe it was fine and maybe it was kind of bad at times or whatever. But certainly if you had headphones, I only listened out of my left ear and I just put the headphones behind my right ear because then the left ear, it was fine. The audio quality was fine. Or when I had my Bluetooth earbuds in, I literally only put my left earbud in. I know Ghost had said something. He basically was doing the same thing when he first joined, but he only had the right one in. And he goes, "Oh man, the audio is messed up." And we're all sitting there listening to it just fine. It's "Oh, try your other ear." "Oh yeah, now it sounds great." So just a tip for that. And that's same thing. I don't know how the mixers work. I'll be honest. I don't understand that kind of stuff, but I get the principle of it. You have a bunch of inputs and then it outputs to the different channels. For some reason, it was outputting only on the left channel. But maybe you said, you got some younger people or you got someone who's a DJ at a radio station, understands channels and mixing and whatever. They could maybe help out. So, but even again, this year, technologically speaking, I think this was, one of probably the best year for all that kind of stuff. All right, man, take it easy. Still no one joining. Come on, people. I don't even see people out here asking for a link. I would give you one and then delete it real quick. But whatever. No one wants to talk to me. That's okay. I understand. Um, but yeah, so they're learning, they're getting better. But even that, like that same dude isn't going to want to do it forever. So eventually, someone else is going to want to do it. And having a couple of years of them working together and like just understanding how it works would make the transition a lot easier. I told the story the other day, so sorry if I'm repeating myself to you guys if you were watching the other ones, but whatever. Maybe someone in the future didn't hear it. You think it was on GWeb's chat yesterday, but when I was in college, me and my buddy tried to start a campus carry thing. So in the state of Michigan, it's actually illegal to carry concealed on a like a public university. That's a state law. But a private university, it's not against the law. They can just say yes or no. Like it's a administrative thing. It's up to the university. Well, I went to a private university, so legally speaking, if they said it was okay, I'd be allowed to do it. But obviously, once I had my permit, which I got like right away. So, anyways, and we tried that. And so my one buddy, he was a couple years older, so he had his permit actually before me, but I still helped him try to get one because I knew I was getting mine the next year. But if you think about it, like because of the permit being 21, like if you talk most people, it's like a 4-year degree and you go right after high school or whatever. You're only talking about seniors, right? Like he didn't work he was working full time, so he didn't take a full course loads, right? So it took him like whatever 5 or 6 years to graduate. So he had a couple years worth where he had his permit. But anyways, like there's all sorts of people, right? You have older people going back to school all the time, night classes and stuff. But anyways, I just want to throw that out because when people hear campus carry, they think, oh, but they're going to have a bunch of college kids and they're drinking and they're going to be irresponsible and shooting people. Well, first off, the type of people who go get a permit aren't the type that are doing keg stands every day or whatever. Like they're the responsible type people. So if they do drink, they don't carry, and whatever. They're just it's a different type of person from what you would think like Animal House is. Like, oh, I don't want those kids running around with guns. I probably wouldn't want them either, but like legally speaking, I'm okay. Anyways, so we tried it, but then guess what happened? We both graduated. So who was left to try and get it? Because we didn't really get anywhere. We maybe got a foot in the door kind of thing, but we did not convince them at all because that was kind of the same stuff we heard from the administrative. Not necessarily like, oh, well, college kids get drunk and do stupid stuff, which may or may not be true. But it was more, well, if something happens, like it's our liability because we allowed it, which I'm not a lawyer and I don't know that that necessarily would be, but that was their fear, I guess, was like, well, because we had the policy that said you're not allowed to have it, if something happens, like it's not our fault because we told them they're not allowed to have it. But if we say they're allowed to carry and then something happens, like we're responsible because we allowed it. My response to that, which not at the time, my response to that now, because I heard this literally yesterday at grpc, I think it was from the faster dude, the faster saves lives, was that by not, I mean, I guess he was talking medical training type stuff right at this point, but basically the idea was like, if someone gets hurt and no one at the school knows how to use a tourniquet or whatever, and someone bleeds out, like that's negligence because there's no reason why every single teacher shouldn't be trained at like how to stop the bleed and how to like keep someone alive until the paramedics or whatever show up, like till reinforcements show up. And so the idea of like they're negligent by not being proactive, especially on something simple like that, because it takes a half hour to do some first aid training or whatever. Like teachers they have half days all the time where the kids are only there for half a day, but the teacher's there all day and they're sitting through, continued education. They're sitting there learning, whatever about development, about a new way to teach math, about a whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they get credits for they have to do a certain number of things per year. Well, why not have one afternoon teaching like just the medical stuff? Now, I personally also like the part of Faster where it teaches, how to use firearms to fight back. And I would definitely push for that as well. But let's at least get some common ground. There's no reason, there's not a single human in this country that should say, like, I want to teach teachers how to use a tourniquet. And what, think of a single person that'd be like, that's a bad idea. Why? Why is it a bad idea? It only helps. Like it's yeah, we don't want bad stuff to happen, and I'm definitely for stopping bad stuff happening to begin with. And there's many different ways to do that. But even if you just ignore all that, pretend that doesn't exist, a kid falls off a jungle gym and gets a break his arm or whatever where like the bone sticks out. You can bleed out from that. Like if it cuts the thing, so you should know how to stop that. And that doesn't take very long to learn how to stop that until help arrives. So you don't even have to talk about, mass killings or talk about like guns or any of that stuff. And so I think that's an easy slam dunk. And there's it at this point, I agree with that guy is that it is negligent for any school board that does not have that trauma training for every single person that steps foot inside a school. It's way too easy to teach. If it was like, oh, we can't have, brain surgeons working in elementary schools, like I agree. I don't need my kindergarten teacher to know how to do brain surgery, but I need her to know how to stop a bleed. It takes 2 seconds. Yeah, what to do for allergies? Sure. And he actually brought that up is I guess there was a time when it's almost like unheard of now, but there was times when schools didn't have EpiPens and they didn't have what's the heart attack thing? The machine, AES or something, automatic something or other. But it's basically like a dummy version of like the little paddles, right? Clear, shock you, boom, boom, boom. And I'm not necessarily thinking, well, whatever, anyone can have heart stuff, but that's probably more for the teachers than the kids, to be honest. But either way, almost every school has at least the heart thing, and every school has EpiPens now. Like back in the day, they didn't. Now they do. Why? Because stuff happens. You might not know, and every teacher should know how to. Yeah, well, it's a defibrillator, but there's it's I think it's AES, and the idea is it's literally like it's like a dummy-proof defibrillator. Because the real defibrillators, you can have all these different settings to like make it perfect, and that's you need training to know how to do the right stuff. But this is kind of like dummy proof where like it kind of works and it's enough for help to show up, and then they can do like the right way or whatever. Yeah, because it's something like automatic, whatever. But yeah. So okay, cool. So every single classroom should have a fire extinguisher, an EpiPen, the AES thing, and a tourniquet. And every single teacher should have knowledge how to use all four of those things. It just makes sense. That's just, and I don't know, I don't know why they don't. Like I honestly, normally I'm pretty good at not straw manning the other side. Like I like to hear the other side's arguments and at least understand like their point of view, not agree with, but understand. Like, okay, given the knowledge you have, I can see how you could think this is a good idea or whatever. Like even the anti-gunners, I can at least I get it. I understand what they're saying. They're wrong, but like I understand what they think why they think they're right. But being anti-medical training, like I can't even think of an argument to do that. Yeah, but next to every fire extinguisher, exactly. And why not have I don't even remember the tourniquet name, like a cat or whatever, right? Or I don't know. I don't remember the tourniquet names. I know there's a couple different types, but I think cat is a name of one. So fire extinguisher, EpiPen, cat. Like, is that hard? Okay, yeah, there's a nurse, but a nurse isn't everywhere all the time. And at least from listening to the faster dude, like the nurses, they're for bumps and bruises. They'll put a band-aid on you and clean up or whatever. Maybe they know how to stitch, but mostly they'll probably just put pressure till someone else shows up and do a stitch. So there's a tourniquet takes 2 seconds to do. Like everyone should know. Anyways, I'm not trying to turn this into medical training show. The point was whatever I was talking about, grpc and stuff, and that was one of the points that was brought up. Yeah, I forget how we started talking about that. See, this is what happens when I don't have other people to help me out. I start rambling, and I forget. Was I making a broader point, or did I make my point? I don't remember. Man, I was doing so good. You guys know I'm normally horrible at talking about myself, but I had a nice little soapbox moment there. And, I had a mission, grpc, every second matters. I guess I'll jump to every second matters for a second. What I've done, I've been home all day, so what I've done for E2M is watch grpc, comment along, try and give suggestions to help, and also, brainstorm, which you guys have not brainstormed anything. You've not done your homework. What do you want to see better at grpc? What would you do different if I gave you the keys to the Second Amendment Foundation right now? Said, hey, dude, you're in charge. You, what are we doing next year? How are we doing it? What's going on? Who's going to be there? Like, you're in charge. So to me, I'd say, okay, probably as far as who's going to be there, I don't know. Like all the people that were there today, I guess were fine, or this weekend, I should say. I did find it surprising because in Chicago, they made it a point, which I don't like, because I feel it's kind of tokeny. But there was literally a panel of like, diversity in 2A, and they had. I don't think Tony Simon was at the Chicago one. I think his first one was the virtual one in 2020, but I could be wrong. But they had like basically the black ones, the black guys. Like that was their, oh, we're diverse, so we put all of these people, like Maj, Rick Ector, Tony Simon. I don't think he was there, but let's say he was there, and Katie. Like we put them all on a panel, and then they get a talk, and they say, oh, outreach, and like we help people learn stuff. Okay, cool, but that's why did you put them all together? Like that's, I don't know. I think that one too. They had oh crap, what's his name? The Top Shot guy, but he's gay, but he's just a regular dude. Like that's the thing, I hate labeling people. Like, how come he has to go up there and just be like, I like 2A because I'm gay? Or like, why can't he just be up there talking about technology in 2A? Like he knows a lot of. I know. Remember he was talking about NFTs and like bitcoins and stuff and how it relates to the Second Amendment, how we can use the blockchain. Okay, I've not at grpc, at like a different video or podcast or whatever. The point being is, it doesn't matter that like he's the gay dude. Like it matters that he has something to add to the conversation. So put him on the panel when talking about the future of 2A. Talk about the NFTs. Talk about the blockchain. Talk about not YouTube and Facebook. Talk about the other way people are going to interact with the Second Amendment. I mean, even like Twitch and Instagram and stuff is old people things. Like I don't have a VR set, but there's got to be something in VR world. How come we don't have SHOT Show in VR world? Like, how amazing would that be if someone took the time to like scan all the booths and make a 3D thing of SHOT Show, and then you can go and every product you pick up like in your VR hand, it shows up, and then you click a link and go right to the website or whatever. Yeah, Chris Chen, sorry, thank you G23. So like that's the future of 2A. Like, why not have something like that? I don't know how it works, but get someone who knows how it works. And the point being is, whoever that person who knows how it works, like just have them. And same thing, I love talking with Tony and all them guys, but like they don't have to always be, oh, you're only here to talk about outreach to minorities. Like Tony's a cool dude and knows stuff about things, so just have him there and then have him talk about whatever, like training. Yeah, he uses the training as an outreach thing, but it's literally 2A for everyone. So it's not 2A for black people. It's not 2A for only my friends. It's literally 2A for everyone. So he trains whoever shows up through the door that day. So put him on a panel talking about how to train new shooters, or how to do a refresher course to the 80-year-old dude who's been shooting his whole life but still does it wrong. We all know those people that have the training scars. And I was in the Army in 1972. Don't tell me how to shoot. It's like, okay, well, you're teacup gripping. It is what it is. Like, I know you think you know everything, but you don't. So put them on a panel with trainers. It doesn't have to be put on a panel with whatever. So that would be an improvement that I would want to see. Is like, yes, I want to see the diversity, but not as a, you're here because you're a thing, because you're a label. You're here for the skills you bring. Now, that being said, if someone's like, Maj or whatever, his kind of whole thing is like, my purpose is to train minorities. Okay, cool. Then have him talk about that if that's what he wants to talk about. Like that's fine, right? And that's a valid conversation also to have. The other thing, and I've noticed that I've been Freudian slipping this whole time. I've been calling these things discussions, conversations, whatever. They're not. They're presentations. Almost everyone goes up there and goes blah blah blah. I'm not trying to be mean. It's like, this is me. This is my name. This is my foundation. They waste 15 minutes talking about what we already know who you are, dude. Like, whether we like you or we don't, we know who you are. So give a quick, elevator speech. Like, my name is cool. Give you a name. My name is this, and I run blah blah blah. And what that thing does is teaches blah blah blah. Okay, cool. Now what? You don't have to talk. Not every single year do we have to hear the history of how in 1956 you started, and then that was your first 22, and then you got a 12 gauge shotgun from your grandpa. Like, that's a cool story, fine, but we don't need origin story. It's like watching Spider-Man when they come out with new ones all the time, and every single one's an origin story because they keep getting new actors and they keep rebooting it. We don't need a reboot every year. We were there last year. We saw you. So give the quick previously on blah blah blah. And then just for people who weren't there last year, okay, great. But, just like movies and TV shows or whatever, you give me a 30-second, previously we talked about this. Now I'm ready for the show. You don't have to relive the whole thing. The soap operas have 20 different storylines going on, and they only give a 30-second recap and people figure it out. So that would just, I don't know if that's, again, I guess I'm the mayor of grpc. I guess I could just yell at all the speakers and say, you better not do this. But again, and this is my fantasy world. So definitely that, right? So the different people, but not tokenized, just different people, because it is who it is. Like, we want to talk about the best people that know about state outreach. Well, these are the 5 best ones. We're going to talk to them. I don't care who they are, what they look like, whatever. And we're going to talk about the best fundraising people. Okay, these are these 5 people. Cool, we'll do that. And the point being, I would like to see more, especially on the panels. Like, how come it's always one person like asking questions and then they run down the line and then 5 people answer the same question? I don't like how that works. Person number 2 should be allowed to talk to person number 5 and ask them a question, but not everyone has to. This isn't a participation trophy. Like, not everyone has to say, what was your first gun? And then you sit around and listen to all 5 answers. When did you do this? Listen to all 5 answers. No, just, something you said I want to ask about. But that only applies to that one person. Well, fine. And that's where the conversation goes for a little bit, is those 2 people talking back and forth, especially if they have difference of opinion. I'm not saying screaming match. I think we all know that they're professional enough and cordial enough to have difference of opinion without being mean. But like, I would like to see some kind of debate. Maybe someone is against, felons getting their rights back or whatever, and some people are for felons getting their rights back no matter what. I'll be honest, that's a topic that I go back and forth on myself. I don't really know. I think if you're talking nonviolent, then the second you walk out of jail, or maybe even the second you're done with probation, then your rights are back instantly. You don't have to petition for it. Like, it's known. Like, are you on probation anymore? No, I'm not. Okay, cool. You got your stuff back because you had some kind of white collar, like you forgot a decimal point on your taxes or whatever. That person can still own a gun, in my opinion. Now, you want to talk about the dude's, armed robbery 8 times. I hear the argument for, well, if they're good enough to be out of jail, they should be good enough to have their rights back. I hear that argument. I don't think I agree with that. I think there is something to be said of, past experience, like learning from the example they've given and saying, okay, like you've kind of proven that you don't pay attention to the rules anyways. So yes, we're going to let you out, but you're not going to like get your gun rights back because you probably wouldn't listen to the rule anyways, and you're probably going to do something bad. So, and I'm not saying everybody, right? No, I don't know. I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole on that either. But like, the point is, I'm fluid on that. There's been times where I have been 100%, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, if you're good enough to come out of jail, you're good enough to have your rights back. And I've been on the other part of going, like, no, you're not, even after you've done probation for 20 years. And but now you had a gun crime to begin with, so you shouldn't be trusted with guns again, like a violent whatever. I shouldn't say gun crime, right? Because those are, oh, you forgot to dot the I on your 4473. That counts as a gun crime, even though it's not like a violent thing. But anyways, my point being, my opinion changed, and I like to hear people that know more than me about that topic go back and forth on it. And maybe I would finally get a more concrete opinion, because as of right now, I still go back and forth. So things like that, that would be my suggestion: is more panels that are more, more Joe Rogan experience, less CNN, kind of thing. Like, let's just talk. Where the conversation goes, it goes. We have people that are really smart about the topic that they're talking about, and they have differing opinions on the topic that they're talking about, and more brainstorming, conversational, like whatever, and see how it goes. Maybe not Joe Rogan, because that's normally just him and one other dude. Let's say Bill Maher. You guys watch him? Like, I don't know. I like him somewhat sometimes. He's at least like open to gun ownership and stuff. But anyways, my point is, like, he has 3-4 people on every night, and or every show, and they all have difference of opinions. Like, he purposely gets like the complete opposites to sit across from each other, but he just throws out the question, then everyone talks about what they want to talk about. Like, that'd be cool to see it from the two-way side, knowing that we're all mostly going the same direction, and then maybe there's disagreements, maybe there's not. But the point being is that kind of free-flowing conversation, that rambling conversation, like what I'm doing, that's when brainstorming happens, and that's where someone may say something that's like, oh crap, I never thought of that before. I'm taking that back to GOA, like right this second. Like, we are going to start doing this now. Like, that is a perfect idea. So that one, and then the Media Row thing, I think, is a great opportunity. Another part of it, which I guess is like kind of part of Media Row, and again, I think this was G-Web's idea. I know it wasn't mine. I want to give credit. I think it was G-Web's. It may have been Tony's. So I think that there was the three of us that were in there talking. But forgive me, I have a bad memory. But all I know is it's not my idea. But it was basically like, as far as Media Row, instead of that, like, oh, these are all the different podcasts or whatever, make the equipment and the technology and the expertise available to like anyone who wants to come up and use it. So someone who's like doesn't have their own show, but like wants to film a promo or film a commercial or whatever, and they don't have access to really good mics and really good cameras, and they don't have the the know-how of how to use the sound mixing board, because they want to have a couple different people talking at once, blah blah blah, whatever. So have a thing, and then basically be like, hey, you want to come over? Like, almost like I think G-Web was the one that said it's like a photo booth. Again, I'm not sure if he came up, whatever, don't matter. It's not credit, but I think it was him. But it's like, it's like a photo booth. Like, you don't need to own a camera to get photos of you and your girlfriend when you go to the carnival. You put your quarter in the thing, you sit there, and boom, 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 takes a couple pictures. It prints out. Now you have some pictures of you and your girlfriend at the carnival. So same thing. And I'm not even saying put the 25 cents in this aspect, because I think everyone is on the same page and could most likely be volunteered. But you need to film an intro or a commercial or a promo or whatever for the DC project, for your own thing, for this, that, whoever. They walk up and be like, hey, do you mind helping me? Like, can you run the camera for the next 30 seconds, the next 2 minutes, the next whatever? I want to film a little thing. And they go, okay, cool. They do that. And then okay, here's a thumb drive or whatever. And, oh, do you need help editing it? Like, I know a person. Or if not, like, I'm going to edit it myself. I'm not good with the cameras, or I'm poor. I don't have a good camera. Okay, well, how cool would it be if someone who has the skills and the knowledge, but doesn't have the equipment, would be allowed to use the equipment for a little bit, and then they can take that raw data home and they can edit it out, and now you have like the most polished intro to your podcast ever, and you're still new. Like, you're just getting started out, but because someone else was nice enough to let you use their stuff because it's for the same common goal, like, I don't know, I think that's pretty cool. That would be a cool idea. And so again, that's kind of my brainstorming, and I do apologize. I've been seeing you guys talking. I have trouble talking and reading at the same time, which is why you should all jump in, and then you could talk for a little bit, and I could take a breath and read some stuff. But Woods is basically saying, I think this is right. Going on, answer my question. Better broadcast quality. Every year, it's not professional broadcast, many platforms. Media real idea. Bad volume static. Limited platforms makes it hard to watch. Okay, so I guess you started as a suggestion of like get better quality, and then those are just some of the reasons why, right? Like that's, and I agree with you. It is tough, right? Like the volume and the static and that, and like I said, I found a work way around. I just only use my left ear. I didn't use my right ear, and it was fine at least this year. Um, but you're right. That could be that is definitely a valid point, and you're certainly not going to. Let's say there is some 25-year-old whiz kid who's, I think I might be in the Second Amendment, and I'm all about editing these like movie quality videos every day. Oh, grpc, like let me jump on here. Oh my god, these guys are using flip phones to record it. Well, then they don't want me there because I don't know. I'm not going to use a flip phone. I'm way better than that. And so then he leaves instead of going, oh, okay, like yeah, they're okay. They could use a little help. They're still using flip phone, but I'll teach them how to use this. Like, you know, that's what we need. Get that whiz kid in who's filming, Lord of the Ring quality movies or whatever, just to talk about the Second Amendment. Like, we need that guy too. Like, or girl. I keep saying guy. Trying to get better about that as well, right? Language is language. But I hope everyone understands. I don't really mean it like that. It's just whatever. I keep complaining myself too much. Okay, so that was Woods, but yeah, okay. Talking about the still holding the wrist like the army back in the day. Lost some rights, took a bunch of money to get it back. Yeah. Okay, G23 didn't watch it, so you can't comment how to make it better. Okay, valid point, but then I think you still can comment of have you seen any of them ever? And if so, you at least understand the concept, right? So you understand like, okay, it's all these people in the 2A community getting together for a weekend and doing their thing. So with that knowledge, I'm not even saying specifically about like, oh, this year they should have had yellow shirts on. Like it doesn't that don't matter, whatever. But so if you understand at least the concept of what's going on, what do you think it would look like? And then yeah, you didn't watch this year. Maybe what you think it should look like is exactly what it was. Then I'll just say, okay, good job. That is what they did, and I guess they're going in the right direction. Page is saying get the introduction done prior to showing up at the time slot. Talk about the agenda, etc. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely you could do some transition stuff a little bit quicker. Um, Again, I think my biggest one on that is, and not even this like the people introducing like as they're walking up to the thing or whatever. That's fine. You're right. I think that would clean it up a little bit. All right, like make it a little more polished. But my biggest thing, and it's happened every year I've watched. Some people are good about it, and some people aren't. Is like their elevator speech is 10 minutes long. Like this is who I am, and this is where I came from, and this is what I do. But it's the same 10 minute, and then they have a 15-minute time slot. So you only got 5 minutes of like the actual reason why they're there. So again, if I was the mayor, I would just give everyone a little class of saying, like, this is how you do it. This is my name. Like, hey, I'm Smeggy. I host the Smeggy Cave. I mean, I've been involved in the Second Amendment pretty much my whole life, but really online, I've started for the past 10 years. I was around the beginning of gun channels, around the beginning of Every Second Matters. I've been trying to do legislative updates every month. And then now you know who I am, right? I'm a podcaster. I'm into E2M. I'm into gun rights. I do the podcast thing. So whatever, you can find me on YouTube and Instagram. I have dogs. Like, okay, great. But now I can start talking about what I want to talk about, which is, in this case, everything that matters in grpc. But like, see how easy that was? Now, maybe I don't have enough accolades to like list a bunch of shit. But then if that's the case, if you have way too many accolades to like introduce all of them in a timely manner, people know who you are. like I said, John Lott doesn't need to spend 20 minutes for me to know who he is. He's like the major dude in 2A data. So you can say, hey, I work the crime prevention, is it association organization? See, I guess I don't even know exactly what it's called, but I know it's like the the crime prevention something. Don't matter. Basically, I'm a nerd. I play with numbers. I look at charts and I do studies. Great, cool. Tell me what you got. So that's just, I don't know. I think that would improve a lot. And I don't know. I don't know how to, whether it's just a, when you start booking speakers, maybe they have a, like when they're talking about like, hey, we want you to, like, what topic you want to talk about? We were thinking about this. Maybe it's, yeah, letting people like pick their own topics a little bit more. I don't know how that works. If they go literally, hey, you're here to talk about this, you have to talk about it, or they go, hey, we want you to talk. What were you thinking? I go, well, I might talk about this, or maybe ice cream, or maybe whatever. They go, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't know how strict or whatever, but anyways, at some point, obviously, you have to invite the people to talk, and somewhere in there, have a little thing and be like, hey, you have to start your thing, say your name and say what you do, and get on with it. Like, I don't know, maybe don't be rude. That's how I would say it, but like, have something like that. Yeah, so definitely. So I see a lot of, okay, a lot of things are definitely going towards the presentation quality, which, like I said, it's a valid comment. I also agree. Um, but let's say, like, let's say I get my wish, and the media row is a thing. Well, then there you go. Now you got 20 options. So that all goes out the window, because now you got a bunch of different people that are all doing the same thing. And so if you don't like so and so's stream because his audio sucks, then go to this person's stream because their audio is better. And if you don't like the video quality of this one, then pull up the other one and then put it on mute because they have good video, but the other one has good audio. Have two tabs open in your computer or whatever. Like that's a way to fix a lot of those problems, with not just saying, okay, this one person who's been doing it in the past and is like, doing the best they can. Like they're not living up to what you would want. Okay, there's two ways to do it: make them be better, or give more options. So I'm really pushed. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any pull, but I don't know who I got to talk to. But I'm definitely going to be throwing it out into the ether of media row, media row, media row. I think that's a great idea. And there was even, well, I guess it was right near the end, or maybe was it after it ended, and it was during Polite Society podcast, because they did a thing. They did a podcast like after the show ended, where, like, because all the whatever, they just still had the camera there or whatever, so they just did their own regular show. But it was somewhere around. It was near the end, whether it was during that show or near the end of the actual grpc, and somehow something came up about like ideas of being better, and I don't remember how that came up, but literally, like, I know it was me and G-Webs, and who else was there? Someone else like that we know, and then like a couple other people literally all said at the exact same time, like, what about some kind of media row thing with a bunch of different podcasters and radio shows and stuff? Literally, we all said at the exact same time. And I was like, oh man, oh, that wasn't it. No, my memory, I got confused. That's when it was near the end. They were talking about doing it in person versus virtual, blah, blah, blah. But that's it. It was a similar thing. We all literally were like, what about some kind of hybrid thing? That's what it was. Okay, so my memory confused two stories. So we didn't all say media row at the same time. We all said, why don't just do a hybrid? Because that's, again, I think that especially a hybrid that allows for interactivity, which kind of gets back to, I want more panel discussions, not there's five people up here at the same time, but they all have a fifth of the time, and it's almost like a one-on-one interview. It just happens to be five people there at the same time. That's not what I want. I want the five people talking to each other. I want them brainstorming, and like, again, that's what I want. I'm not perfect either, but like, I think that would be beneficial because I enjoy listening to people that know what they're talking about, nerd out about whatever topic they're talking about. And if that happens to be Second Amendment, if that happens, like I said, there's people who know stuff about fundraising. There's people who know stuff about outreach. There's people that know stuff about how to do court cases. There's people who know stuff about how to talk to the legislation, how to get people out there voting for the right types of things. Okay, yeah. But like, if that's the case, then like I want to hear two different people that know a lot about super PACs and they know how to get people elected that are like on our side kind of thing. Then I want to hear them talk about this stuff. And maybe, like I said, when you get people talking free flow, there could be something, some little thing that one of the people say, and the other one goes, "Oh crap!" Like I never thought about that. And maybe it's because they're nerding out about some like software, like how to do like robocalls, and they happen to mention there's an option in there you can click, click option number 7, and then it makes your robocalls 10 times more efficient. Or like I don't know, but the thing is, I don't know what I don't know, and those two people talking to each other, not just talking to like not just presenting a thing. They're gonna go, oh crap, I never knew about option 7, and now we just made 2A better just because two people who know what they're talking about happen to be able to talk to each other in the same room, and one of them gave the other one an idea. It's kind of like what we were doing, like this media row thing. That came from us talking to each other, watching the thing, talking to each other, or talking in the comments or whatever. And it just kind of like, hey, this is a good idea. And then, building on it and going, well, what about this, this, and this? Like the photo booth thing is a great build on to the media row. Give smaller people that don't have like the equipment or to have the knowledge or the whatever, give them a chance to shoot a promo. Imagine if DC Project was there and all 50 of the ladies had 5 minutes in front of a professional camera with professional audio to film a little blurb, and then they can use that on whatever, on the website they have. They can put that on their channels, on their Instagrams, on their whatevers, or they can like use that. I don't know how you do the video, but like that can be in their email when they email the senator or whatever. Oh, and by the way, here's like my signature is a little TikTok video of me explaining exactly who I am and what I do and what like. Or when they do talk to the senators, the first thing they're going to do is go, oh, does this person have a website? Like I'm going to go check out that person's website, and then that's the opening message. And they might have really good stuff to say and not have the expertise or the equipment to say it super well. Which, as you guys know, I'm filming on my phone. It's not like I'm doing some massive, production here. But either way, that's a great idea. And the point is, I never would have known of that idea unless I was talking with my buddies and they brought it up. And then I can go, oh, yeah, I agree with you. That's a good idea. If I just gave my presentation of this is what I think, and then they gave their presentation, this is what I think, it wouldn't have clicked in my brain, Like it was because we were talking back and forth, feeding off each other. Patriot, I don't know. You're saying it'd be nice if it was open up to all the little guys, even if you can't actually be there. It is open up to all the little guys. I went to Chicago, and I went to Chicago before I was even doing Smeggy Cave. I mean, I think I was doing Daily Gun Show with G-Wubs and Dano back in the day, like and Bob. I think it was like that time frame. So yeah, I was a co-host on a thing, but I never think of myself as any kind of professional, whatever. So it is open. You just have to register for the thing. They're not. It's not only for. I guess I look at it from a media lens because that's I think where it would benefit the most, and maybe selfishly because like, yeah, I guess I'm media. I don't know. I'm not big. I got 6 people watching, but whatever. I'm doing what I do, and it is what it is. But like, anyone can go there, and that's most. I think most people there aren't like a media person. They're either an activist or even just a volunteer type person, and that's I guess another thing which I know they do. I don't know. I guess this is where I have half an idea and I don't have the conclusion part of the idea. is how do we share resources better? Because there are people that are there that are like, I want to help. What do you need? Right. And so if there's some way to facilitate, or all the big groups can show up and be like, okay, we're kicking ass in this state, this state, this state, or maybe it's a state level organization. Like we got this law, and this mayor or whatever city ordinance, blah, blah, blah. But man, do we need someone who lives in this county to help us do this? And then someone's sitting there going, oh crap, I live in that county. I can help them do that. What do you need? You just need someone to show up to the mayor's office tomorrow? Like, okay, I'll go to the mayor's office tomorrow. What do I say? Well, let me teach you. Let me help you. This is what we want you to say. Or, that's not, because you're not robots. But you know what I mean? Like, you want some help, like what you should go say to your mayor? Like, okay, here's some ideas, or here's some ways to think about it, and whatever. You want some support, we'll help you. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, Outcast, New York variety. The message is good, the quality doesn't really matter. Uh, Yes and no, though. You know what I mean? Like, listen, I do agree with you, and that's why, my quality is my backyard playing with my dog, and I'm talking on my phone, like whatever. But that being said, if I was talking to, the president or something, and this is what I gave him, like this was my presentation to the president, or like, hey, I think you shouldn't like ban guns because like this. I'd be like, who's this freaking crazy dude on his phone? Like, no. But if someone who has the power and the money, and you got a CNN documentary presentation going on, you watch that and go, oh, I don't think those guys know what they're talking about. Even if they don't, I mean, it's human nature. Like if you present yourself as just like a whatever crazy drunk dude or whatever, even if what you say is true, people are going to discount you. And if you present yourself as a Harvard professor, blah blah blah, this da da da, like people are going to believe you. Not everyone. I mean, those who know the truth don't believe those kinds of crap, but like people do, like normal, regular, whatever's. Like it is what it is. They just believe that. The dude screaming on the side of the road with the sign, and like written on cardboard, like he might be saying the perfect thing. You're not really going to listen to the message, or maybe most people won't. Some people will. So that's all I mean is like if and especially if it's something as easy as, can we help you out for 5 minutes? Let's tweak your elevator speech a tiny little bit. Like, great. And that's just going to give us an edge, because Bloomberg ain't showing up with just like, hi, like maybe, I think, no, they're coming. They got their script. It's da 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 da, and it sounds like they know what they're talking about. So people who don't know either way, they're going to side with that, because when it's competing opinions or competing philosophies or competing whatever, and if you're like, let's say, I don't know much about like race cars. If I had two people telling me about what's the best size engine for a race car or whatever, and there's some dude who really looks like he knows what he's talking about, is like a NASCAR or whatever or something or other, and then there's some dude in his garage like, no, I just use a paper clip to hold the caliper, bro. Like, which one am I going to listen to? I'm going to buy the engine that came from the dude who had the good production value, because I don't know either way. Now, the paperclip dude might be the right one. And if you put the paperclip in this is a super high performance thing, and then you put the paperclip in the thing, I go, okay, I'll believe you with the paperclip. I don't know why you guys are talking about doing makeup, but whatever. Maybe he likes wearing makeup. That's fine. But anyways, that's sidetracking a sidetrack, I think. But it's, I guess going back to, as far as the production value type stuff, I think that's where options, like the idea of having options, helps, right? And so you can have the official one or whatever, and then you can have the other ones. And so whoever was saying, oh, like people who, when we were there, I'm going to keep going back to Chicago just because that's the only experience I've had in real life, like being there in person. But me and G-Wub sat in the back of the room, and I'm pretty sure he was just using his phone. Maybe he had his laptop and he was using the audio from that. But like, we streamed the whole thing, and I thought the sound quality was fine. It's like you're picking up what it sounds like from the speakers, not what it sounds like from the microphone. But like, I thought it was fine. And maybe again, like, it all comes down to if you give them options, then maybe after doing that a couple times and then going, hey, look at what my production value like normally, like this was my production value at SHOT Show or whatever, like where they did give me a booth and gave me access to the mixing board compared to like the other person who's got access to the mixing board. So do you want me to do it? Like, look at all the stuff I can do. And they go, okay, yeah, maybe we'll have you do it. Like, I don't know. That's getting, I guess, maybe a little political and political in like the human, what do you call that? I don't know what I'm trying to say. That's getting into the weeds. I'm not really going to talk about that anymore. I think we all are on the same page. We know what we're talking about. But yeah, so I think that problem is easily fixed with options and letting the free market decide, kind of thing. Maybe that's the best way to say it. But the other part again is the interview, and that's, I think I brought up earlier. It could be. Anyways, like the FPC doing their interviews out in the hallway, that stuff, like, that was really good. I enjoyed them, and I watched them after the show. And like I said, I don't know if they recorded any today. Maybe they'll drop them, later today. I haven't seen any yet, but that was a good supplementary media coverage of the event, and that was just one group. Well, it was one dude in the one organization, right? It was Craig. I don't know if he has a camera team or whatever too, but I think it was just him. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was one outlet. Imagine if there were 20 of those, and then you flip through and you said, "Hey, I don't like the way this dude does the thing." Then don't watch that dude. Watch the other dude, or watch the other lady, right? Like, there's, imagine if Brooke was there and Saturday night she was able to do her suicide prevention thing because they had the Doctors for Responsible Gun Owners. Rob Pincus was there for Walk Talk America. There was a couple other like doctors or lawyers or something. I don't know. There was a few different like suicide prevention type people. Imagine if Brooke's podcast that night was her talking with them in person, like after they went out to, I don't know, wherever. They're sitting in a diner somewhere, and then they do an interview or something. Kind of like how Charlie does it in the car, riding shotgun with Charlie. Like, whatever. Okay, we're all going up to Brooke's, hotel room, and we're gonna record the podcast. And it's like 4 or 5 people sitting in person. That conversation is going to be like way better than some kind of pre-recorded whatever. This is my presentation, and this is what I think. And that's the part of being there in person. Those are the types of things that can get done. And with a media row type thing, even if it's not during the thing in the hallway, it's hey, you want to come on my show? Like, what are you doing like Sunday afternoon? Right? So the thing ended at like 1:00 or whatever Sunday afternoon. I guess maybe it was 1:00 here. Or was it 1:00 local time, their time? Maybe in their time. I think it was only a half day, like, even there. Either way. So what are you doing Sunday afternoon? What are you doing for dinner? Well, we got a couple hours before any of that. Like, let's crank out a couple of shows with like 10 people and have a grand old time and whatever. Just like when you go to SHOT Show or NRA and you go in the media room and you make connections, and this goes for if you're talking with like manufacturers and stuff, and then they all host a thing. Oh, that was one of the things. I'm pretty sure this was G-Wubs also, but I keep stealing his ideas because I like what he says. But it was like, have like an activity, like a whatever, or somewhere to like blow off some steam where it's like all the people are all getting together and I don't know, go play miniature golf or whatever. Like go do a thing like that'd be cool. And Sunday afternoon would be perfect for that because right now it's like the AmCon thing's Friday, and I think a lot of people like kind of blow that off or they come in like late Friday night or something. And there is like a little dinner Friday night. I've been to that. Or that's same kind of thing, rubbing elbows and getting to know people or whatever. Saturday all day, boom, 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 do your thing, and then Sunday half day. And what it seems to me, from my experience, is by let's say the thing ends at 1 o'clock on Sunday, like by 2 o'clock, everyone's on their way to the airport or back in their car or whatever. Like it's like they all think they have it in their brains. I got to be home like for dinner Sunday night. And what I'd really like is having in their brains like I'm gonna travel on Monday. Like I'll be home for dinner on Monday. I got the rest of the day Sunday to do everything. Yes, it's an extra hotel night, and I understand. You know, when Clover only went for one day, trust me, I get. It. I didn't go for. I went for 0 days. I understand. You know the financial burden of going to these things, especially because everyone that goes there, they're doing it on them. Like this isn't a sponsored endorsement deal. So I get it, but how cool would it be if most of the people kind of had in their brain that the main thing Saturday, kind of the fun thing Sunday, and then Sunday afternoon is kind of free time, and these are some of the things that we all go do. Especially imagine if there was some kind of tradition, and not like again let blow off the steam. Don't be it's all gun 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 2 8 like I'm all for that too. But what if there was some tradition where every year at grpc Sunday afternoon you go go-kart racing. And every year you go go-kart racing. You find a place that's nearby that does go-kart racing. You schedule it every single year. And then just imagine like that camaraderie and like, this is going to have competitive type people. Oh man, remember back in 17 when so-and-so like cut the corner and flipped and blah, blah, blah. And then the other person, I'm going to get you back in 2025. I got a trick up my sleeve. We're in my hometown. I know the track. I'm going to get you in 2025. I paid the dude who runs it $50 to juice up my car a little bit more than yours. Like, it's just fun, all good spirited. But imagine if there was some kind of GRPC like annual competition fun thing. Like that'd be kind of cool. I'm down for it. Let's start it. Next time I go to NRA show or SHOT Show or something, and it's a bunch of all of us like Gun Channels people, we're starting the Gun Channels like Mario Kart League. And so every year we'll go, and then someone will keep track on Excel. Me, I'm going to keep track on Excel. And every year you go, and whatever you place, you're going to get a certain number of points. And it's going to encourage people to go every year, because the year you don't go, if the other person goes, they're going to get a point for whatever. Even if they finish last place, they're going to get 1 point, and you got 0 points. You didn't even show up. So it's going to encourage people to go to all the events, go every single year, and get the Mario Kart points. All right, take it easy, Patriot. Taking off. But and that here, I literally like just made up that idea like off the top of my head, and that's the part where I'm talking of when you get people relaxed and just BSing, some good ideas can come up. And I'm not saying the final form is Mario Kart, and I'm not even saying whatever that I'm gonna be racing like the top 2A people in the world. But I do kind of think like if next time I go to like a SHOT Show or NRA show or Tulsa, right, Wanamaker show, I haven't been to one of those yet, but I do want to go at some point in my life. And I know there's a lot of, I'm gonna call them the Gun Channels people, even if they weren't technically around during gun. You guys know what I mean? It's us, right? We're the Gun Channels crew, whether we were around back then or not. Like we're kind of grandfathered in now. It's these types of people. We all know each other. We're buddies, right? I talk about you guys as my buddies. I've never met you. Some of you, right? I've never talked in person. It's just only in comments sometimes. But like, you're my buddies. And if I ever met you in person and we're all at Wanamaker, we're going go-kart racing and we're going to have the Mario Kart Cup. All right, take it out. Take it. Whatever. Take it easy, New York Outcast. I don't know why I said take it out. I guess I was reading Outcast and I was going to say take it easy or see you later or something. And it came out all weird. So yeah, take it out, Outcast. Um, anyways, now that I'm scaring everybody away because of my awesome Mario Kart idea, I guess no one wants to challenge me. I mean, that'd be fun, and it'd really be cool if it was linked to like every grpc we go do this thing, and we're gonna keep track year over year, and for one, gotta keep who keeps coming and who keeps going, but also like it would just be cool at the end of it. Like I'm just picturing the end, like, oh man, after 20 years, like this person is better than this person, and that's just like a fun little competition. So at my ultimate fantasy grpc, that's what's going to happen. Media row, talk about whatever you're good at talking about. Discussion, conversation more than presentation. Uh, Help for some kind of way of whatever. I'm a volunteer. What do you need? What can you provide? How can we help each other? And Mario Kart, but real life Mario Kart, and keep points. I think that's pretty good. I think I'm going to wrap it up since got a few more people jumping out. I don't have much more to say. I am blown away. One, that no one showed up. I thought you guys were my friends and no one even showed up. But two, that I've been going on for almost an hour and a half because I'm normally not good at talking to myself. So, anyways, I don't need nobody. I don't need no help. I don't care that nobody jumped in. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't need nothing. Just me and this toaster and this racket and this chair and my dog. I don't need nothing else. Don't need anybody. Anyways, they must really hate the oil cans. I like that movie. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks everyone for sticking with it and listening to me and brainstorm with me and all this stuff. And I will catch you next time.